I noticed that last week. And it's such a shame that last week's got...
Well, we had Kevin here, so we were kind of discombobulated a little bit because we were...
But the sound was just so off.
I didn't get to watch much of the recap, unfortunately.
Well, the recap looked fine.
Because I like to go through and watch our shows to make sure that, one, we're funny and we're on topic, and, I missed this and I forgot this. And also I wanted to check and see how many F-bombs we didn't drop last week.
Right,
and the answer is
0, because we are a non-swearing show right now.
It's going to be fucking hard.
We're live, by the way.
I know. I saw it, yes. That is punishment for, I want you to have to go through and bleep this for everybody for navigating the obstacle. By the way, thank you for adding the expert level challenge of the multiple deer that ran across the road.
Oh, you're welcome.
While I was coming down this. So Joey's road has an excavator and it's torn up and it's all this other stuff. So as Joey's house fell apart, so did his road. And he calls me and he's like, "Hey, by the way, be aware of this and you come flying down the road." I'm like, "Well, I don't. It was the other guy who almost hit me last week flying down the road you should be worried about." And as I'm driving down, there's the excavator thing, and I'm trying to come around and everything, and then, whoom, there's a deer. And I'm like, okay. And the deer turns around, and I'm like, horn, 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 and he runs up the hill, and I drive at about another 30 feet, and then, whoom, another deer. Except for this deer, when he hears the horn, decides to cut back and come at the car. So I'm like, horn, 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 no, go away. There's another car coming behind me who I can just see is seething because he's like, why is this guy slowing down? I'm like, there's a deer. So yes, thank you for, I passed expert level. I cleared world, 6
Achievement unlocked.
Yes, exactly. Da-ding. Hi, everyone.
Hey, welcome another week of Powerbomb Weekly. So for those that follow on Facebook, you know that we are completely caught up on the YouTube. All the YouTube videos are there. Last week's landmark no cursing show did not make it online because the rendering was horrible, and I don't know. But don't worry, we are a PG-13 show now, and will be in the future. We have some big things that may be happening, and we're going to...
We're not going to reveal yet because they're still in the works.
But
if you're following our polls on Facebook, you might start to get the hint of what might be happening soon.
We may be going... I will say that we may be switching nights.
We may be switching nights, and there might be some other extra added surprises along the way, guys.
Oh, did you get your Bear System DVD?
I checked. I actually had to do one of those nice troubleshoot things on the Amazon where it's like, your item may be lost. Do you want to... So you know what? I just went for refund because this is like the third time I've tried to order it.
Because I reached out to Bear for you.
Oh, really? What'd he say?
Yeah, he didn't respond. But I did. I don't know if you know, I've been tagging you all of those posts.
Yes, Ian, we love you, and we hope you are cleaning house down at Gold Coast, my friend.
We can't wait to hear all about it.
Yes, very excited for that.
So let's go ahead and we'll start the show, and we'll get going. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. Happy 316.
Yes, happy 316 day. The wife pointed out Johnny Mundo's hair because I was like, "What is he doing?" And she's like, "Well, he's a redneck. It's all Steve Austin. He's a redneck." I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." Johnny's hair was awesome.
Johnny. I had a name for him the other day. I can't remember. Anyway, let's start the show.
All right,
take it away, Kevin.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Powerbomb Weekly. Tonight, you know the moves, but which wrestler hit them better? But first, let me introduce you to your hosts. He is the man that taught Ric Flair, how to style and profile. It's Mr. Michael Bret. And he's the man who taught Joey Ryan things we can't talk about on a family wrestling podcast, Joey Marcello.
And this is Powerbomb Weekly.
That's what I get.
that's what you get, man.
That is what I get. I get the Joey Ryan treatment.
Did you see the I guess the thing that he sent out that said that he's not sure if he wants to return back to wrestling? And I went, I don't think wrestling wants you back, homie. Like,
right.
I don't think this is like. This is not like a mutual thing where it's like, don't call us, we'll call you. It's like, don't call us, we're never calling you.
Right. All right. So, hey,
Yeah,
I was
what's
right. All right, so there's so much to unpack this week, and this show should be a little shorter than usual. We're going to change the format. You're going to notice some things. Please let us know what you think works, what doesn't work. And a way we're going to go, we're going to start with our subject. Wow, that was great, Sulk.
That was pretty good. I like that.
Who did it better? So I'm gonna tell you some moves, and you're gonna tell me who. I'm gonna give you some examples. You'll tell me who did it better in the list, or if you think there was somebody else that did it better altogether.
Okay.
You ready to play this game?
I'm ready.
We'll just start with the sleeper hold, perfected by Roddy Piper.
I was about ready to say Piper.
Brutus Beefcake, or the $1 Million Dream, which was a slight variation.
We're talking about the straight sleeper, right?
Yep.
Not the Taz Hatakatagami choke or whatever the hell they're calling Shayna Baszler's rear naked choke and all this stuff, right? We're talking about the straight sleeper.
Just the straight sleeper move.
I think I got to give it to Roddy, except for Roddy never won a world championship with it, so that kind of...
No, but when Piper put Hogan to sleep in WCW...
Yeah, I would say, Piper putting Hogan to sleep is up there. Honestly, Hogan had a pretty good one, too. Like, if we ever do some watch-along stuff, I'd actually like you to watch the way Hogan actually...
Hogan had a sleeper?
Hogan would do sleeper. I mean, they all did sleepers for the 80s thing. That was the big thing, because remember, they would always check, because you weren't allowed to choke. You were just allowed to, like, compress on the guy, and that would be the thing.
You ever had the sleeper move polite to you?
Like, you're talking about, like, a legit choke?
Legit.
I've been knocked unconscious.
Yes. My cousin, Jason, who I'm going to tag in this later... He actually, back in the 80s, he had me in a sleeper hold because we were talking about how whether wrestling was real or not.
Yeah.
And he had me in a sleeper hold, and he's like, "I'm gonna let go. I'm gonna let you go." And of course, I was out, had no idea. So he lets go because my body went limp, and I went down. My head hit the bricks, bounced, hit the cement, and then I started doing the shake.
Jesus, man.
He was freaking out.
So it's pretty gnarly. It's weird to have the tunnel come in because it's a little bit different on a blood to an air when you put somebody out. But the really good trick too is if you want to keep somebody good, kind of hold forearm that way. If you really want to put somebody out, you turn and do the blade across, and that really puts a guy out. And I've doing like chin tucks and trying to make sure somebody did it, and I had a guy cinch up on me and that's all he did is arch back, and I was out.
The bonsai drop. Yokozuna?
Yokozuna?
Yokozuna and Rikishi are the only two that I could find that really made this one popular.
Did Bam Bam do it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I think Earthquake did.
Earthquake probably did. Did Vader do a version of this, maybe?
Not that I'm aware of. I got him down for a whole nother moveset.
Okay. I mean, if we're comparing it, I think we have to go with Yoko. I mean,
I agree.
As we said earlier, won a world champion with it. And Yoko has got this weird, like, WWE is celebrating him really hard right now.
Right.
They did the Icon series. They had the specialized T-shirts with him. Obviously, they had a lot of documentaries with the Samoan guys talking about how great he was for everything. And to a point, when you have a guy that can do that and move that way, I mean, I would say that. And honestly, I hated him. Yeah. I hated that evil sumo jerk.
Who was a Japanese wrestler.
He was a Japanese man. I mean, Yokozuna is a rank attained in
I know.
sumo and stuff.
Now I know that.
Have you ever looked at like the hierarchy of how sumo actually works, especially like in the weird 1800s and stuff, how they built and did stuff up and their clubs worked and stuff? It's absolutely amazing. I tried to pitch the idea to a friend of mine as a book, and he was like, "Yeah, that's cool and all, but I don't like sumo wrestling at all. I think it's dumb." And I'm like, "Oh, well, never mind."
The figure four. Flair, Buddy Rogers, or maybe The Miz?
I was wondering if you were going to throw that person in there. No, it will definitely not be The Miz, because I believe during the segments where they gifted him, Flair gave him the figure four, and he screwed up and put it on the wrong way.
Yes.
No, absolutely. I think,
Or you give it to Charlotte with her figure eight.
I think that's a different move then, technically, right? If it's a figure eight.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the figure eight. I think it looks unique for her. It makes it a little bit of extra, which is cool, but... regardless of Buddy, man, I mean, I think you got to go with Nate. You know, even though once again, I thought about this as like, how many times and how long did he put people in that and never win a match?
I know.
Like, so often. But, yeah, I mean, just the way when Flair did that and when he started adding the strut, the dance, and the pull the leg back and the stuff like that, absolutely. And nobody, including Double J or The Miz, ever did it better than Ric Flair.
The frog splash.
Now, are we talking straight frog or are we talking 5-star?
We're going to go... Well, I'm going to give you the contenders.
Okay.
And I actually wrote one in just now because of SmackDown, honestly.
Okay.
Eddie Guerrero, RVD, Jey Uso, or maybe Montez Ford.
I was actually going to say Montez on the 5-star now, regardless for RVD, but
Montez has incredible height, and he's been turning mid-splash
he's
now.
been doing these weird, like, half-quarter turns and stuff, which is absolutely amazing. It's incredibly athletic.
Could you imagine when, like, the first time he does that live, the number of flashes that are going to go off?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got, I have a note in here once we get to that for SmackDown about my thoughts from Montez, right? But, I mean, honestly, I didn't really like Eddie's, and I know I'll probably get crucified for that.
Well,
but
he just extended it out.
His is
went for distance.
His is a true frog splash where he kind of comes in and connects the elbow to the knee and extends out.
Right.
RVD's was all about the straight up
and then straight down.
Height down, but the way RVD added the rib cell into it, where he would hit and it looked like he really wiped himself out, that was absolutely cool. So, I mean, I don't know. I would say...
Montez does the cell.
Montez.
Do you remember the video
I'd
game?
say Montez is the perfect combination of the frog splash to the 5-star to what he does.
Yes. I always remember in the video game, no matter what, they'd always put the rib cell in it. I always picked RVD.
Yeah.
No,
even if you did the creative character, you would always the frog splash would write itself in the game because of the clipping issue that it would have. So you could jump this way and you would end up landing back on the guy doing the rib grab.
You will not ever see me do a moonsault.
Can you not do a moonsault?
No, Kevin wants to see me. Do you want? I know, and I don't appreciate the Joey Ryan comment, by the way.
He did. He said, "Man, I'm going to love this comment."
Sharpshooter. Bret Hart, Sting, and apparently Conan used to do it.
Conan used to do it.
I mean, there's so many. Natalia does it.
A
Chris
couple
Jericho.
Yeah.
But they do more of a half. This is like the full on.
The full on sharpshooter, you have to give it to Bret because that's his move. And I mean, I pop every time Sting does the Scorpion Deathlock. Like, I really do. And there was something about it's the difference in the two, you know. And I know that's what we're getting at is the difference of how it happens.
Yeah.
But the way Bret would do it would be very methodical,
right?
For how he would kind of lock it in. I love seeing Sting's like
more vicious and more like aggressive.
Yeah, I like
a technical versus aggressive.
Yeah, you know. So I mean, honestly. I think Sting said it best when he was asked about greatest people, and somebody said Bret Hart, and he says, "Love his finisher." So I think I got to give it to Bret Hart.
Okay. The super kick. Lance Storm, Shawn Michaels, Dolph Ziggler, the Bucks,
literally
anybody,
everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen. I can't think of a wrestler almost at this point
who doesn't do it
past the 2000s that hasn't thrown a super kick, or at least kicked someone and had the announce team call it a super kick.
Now, the only people that still do it as a finisher have been Dolph Ziggler and actually Shawn Michaels because
Jey Uso. Jey Uso
he does.
Kevin Owens' head in. The Bucks do it all the time. I know they have the Meltzer driver and stuff now, but I mean, for the super kick, it's Shawn because the tuning up of the band. The way he did it, and the fact that Shawn could, like probably some of these we'll get to, do it out of anywhere. Mm-hmm. And to a certain point, even though the WWF hyped it up, his athletic martial arts skill
looked like it hit him on the chin.
Sold it really well. Yeah. So and it worked good for Shawn because if you think of somebody like a Taekwondo guy, like kicks are going to be their main thing. So a smaller, athletic guy using the extension of his legs, the power of his legs to knock a guy out as opposed to like trying to do a big power move on him it really made Shawn, I think, it gave him another dimension. That a kick was his finisher.
So, talking about super kicks.
Yeah.
WWE is now allegedly fining people for slapping their leg.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes. So, AEW and Impact have made some good jokes about this. I believe Don Callis has an awesome shirt that he is selling.
Now, do you know where this came from? Do you know why this became a thing?
Educate me.
NXT. NXT has been kind of like AEW, and they've been... When you watch Shawn Michaels do a super kick, you don't notice him slapping his leg because it's just part of his flow.
Yeah.
Some of these AEW people, you can just clearly see them slapping their leg as they're kicking. Like they're slapping before they've gotten very sloppy.
Well, as we've talked about, Mr. Johnny Gargano, his little side super kick that he does that he always misses, that sounds like a shotgun blast going off. Yeah.
So this got back to Vince. That, he's like, someone's like, Vince, I think you need to watch this. It's NXT, I don't care. No, I think you really need to see this part.
Okay.
And so the thought and the rumor and the Meltzer and the other people that are dirt sheet writers are saying Vince got word that it looks very sloppy on NXT. He viewed some of it and was like, this needs to happen, you're going to get fined.
But there's a lot of other people who do a lot of other very poor fake things on your show that you should be more concerned with than somebody covering for the fact he didn't just kick a dude's head off.
So Shawn Michaels was asked about this.
Oh, good.
His thoughts.
I saw this, but I didn't read it.
He's like, did I slap my leg? He goes, looking back, I don't think I even realized I was slapping my leg because it was just part of the fluid motion.
Yeah.
So he goes, I guess I was taught to do that, but it wasn't. It was like subconscious. You weren't like trying to get a loud bang from it. It was just part of the kick.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, what was the thing that we saw with, was it Del Rio? I mean, I know we're not supposed to talk about Del Rio, and intentionally for a reason. Google if you want to. But wasn't it Del Rio we saw live? Because Del Rio always had that jump step up enziguri on the side, and we always heard that cacao whenever he did it. And I swore it was either like we saw the padding on his boot or something come loose, or we actually saw somebody actually hit like the little knockers when he did it. And we were both sitting there and we were like, I can't believe they just did this in front of a live audience.
So I don't know if did you ever watch any of the Lucha Underground stuff?
Yes,
because there was somebody's job was to hit two bricks together whenever there was a kick.
Yes. So I mean, we've seen it. So Vince, there's other things that you need to be paying attention to than somebody slapping their leg.
So I'm kind of jumping around my list a bit.
Go for it.
The ankle lock. Shamrock or Angle?
Man, oh man. So I know this isn't in the weed thing, but I know you want it. If you want to watch an extremely brutal heavyweight mixed martial arts match, watch Don Fry versus Ken Shamrock. So I love the ankle lock because it's a legitimate hold.
Yep.
I can't say Shamrock did it better because I don't think he had a longevity career that we've seen at that point that could have brought him up enough. Now, granted, we know he's in TNA and he's doing a lot of stuff there. Well, I guess Impact, sorry. And Kenny wrestled around a lot of other places too, But watch Don Fry and Ken Shamrock, and I believe it's in Pride. And what happens is they both catch each other in a double ankle lock. And people are watching this and they're like, what the heck are they doing? This thing's dumb, right? But no, they legitimately caught each other both in a double ankle lock, and they were both twisting so much on each other that they both legitimately suffered tendon and nerve damage in both their legs from it. So the ankle lock is brutal. I loved, and I don't know if Kenny did it first, but when I saw Angle grab the ankle lock and then he would hook the leg and drop back with it, I popped so hard when he would do that, because it gave that match a little bit more that he had to go further on the guy.
So I
would say Angle had the better.
I agree with Angle, but I liked it for different reasons. I liked it when he held it way up high, and he was just.
No, that always made it kind of look a little more fake to me. I like it lower.
I liked it because the guy was kind of hanging.
Yeah, well, what about Jake Hager? Do you think he had a good ankle lock? Because I remember they gifted that to him for a while.
He did have a decent one, but he hasn't been using it. he's been more power now.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of power stuff. But yeah, I just think Angle had the better ankle
All right.
lock. Sorry, Kenny. I love you.
So speaking of, this is going to go in the wood. This wasn't on here. Suplex.
Okay.
Angle. Taz.
What suplex are we talking about?
Just.
Who had the best suplex? Well, Mr. Perfect. The perfect plex.
I would agree with that. Did you? So there was an article that was just published about Angle and Taz.
Yes, I saw this.
And Angle said that he's tired of people telling Taz is an unsafe worker. Taz protected him with every single suplex. They looked brutal, and Taz was a safe worker. So,
Well,
and then Taz was like, if a gold medalist says it, it's legit. He's like, finally, somebody.
If you remember, I mean, a lot of that probably comes from the fact that he would throw Sabu's through the table and stuff. But also, do you remember?
We also have Brock Lesnar with the suplex.
Suplex City, man. I mean, we've seen it live. Holy cow! Well, we saw. That was our first
pay-per-view watching together.
That was our first pay-per-view prom together. And we sat there in awe, just like
we
they did that to John. Oh my god!
We rewinded it and counted them.
Yeah. That was pretty awesome. But I mean, man, the suplex. I mean, I guess perfect for the perfect plex, but also at the same time, like, what about Guerrero with Three Amigos? Those are amazing. Dean Malenko, when we compare those two together, had a great suplex. Even going further back into guys like Backlund and stuff like that, amazing suplexes that these guys can do.
I only can think of two people that have done this move: the Uranagi, Bray or Biggie.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's a lot of Japanese talent that have used it.
I give it to Biggie. He just makes it look more brutal.
Yeah, and there's a wonderful thing I showed my wife about Biggie earlier, but I think for recent times, probably Biggie would be good, because I apologize, I cannot pull any of the Japanese talent out of my head
either.
right now. I'm very scatterbrained tonight, I apologize.
Coast to coast.
RVD.
What about Sean? What about Shane?
No. Okay. No. The reason why I will say Shane does it like a guy in a bar fight.
Shane's missed the last couple of them.
Yes, Shane does it like a guy in a bar fight where he just throws it.
Yeah.
Like RVD, like legitimately, when he came out with the Van Terminator, I mean,
here, hold this, whack!
Yeah, that was so awesome.
Here, hold this, whack!
Yeah. That was, I mean, the first time he did an ECW when he went coast to coast with that was amazing.
The Canadian Destroyer.
Petey. I don't care. I love you, Adam Cole. You're on my roster, baby. But, and I like...
What about Ray Phoenix?
No, Petey.
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
I've told you this, but have I told the story on here that most of the wrestling fans have probably seen, but Petey's story about Scott?
Yes.
So, for those of you who might not have heard this, go YouTube Petey Williams' Shoot interview where he talks about the section of Scott Steiner. And essentially what would happen is that Scott would come to him and be like, "So Petey, what do you want to do tonight?" And he's like, "Oh, well, we got
this." This is back when he was Little Pete. Little.
This was he was little Scott Steiner, right?
Little Steiner.
Yeah, Little Steiner. And he's like, "Oh, well, how about this?" And he's like, "All right." He's like, "I think I want to take the Destroyer tonight." It's like, Scott, I don't know. That's because he talks about, if you guys remember, Scott would catch a guy in a like crossbody, and he would do a standing backflip and try and flip with the guy, and he would always like land on his head. So Petey's like, "Man, I don't know, Scotty. That's a bit of a rough one to do." And he's like, "You don't think I could do it, Petey? I can do that." He goes, "Come on, let's go to the ring right now. Let's do it." And he's like, "Oh yeah, okay. Scott, I got promo coming up here in a minute. They got to shoot tape, but I'll tell you what. I'll come back around 4:30, and we'll work out in the ring together and do it." Okay. And Petey would never come back and teach Scott how to do the Destroyer because he knew he would kill him.
Right, because the thing of this Destroyer is it's the person who's receiving the move that has to do the flip.
Yeah.
But Scott, Petey, or whoever has to hold it in position to make it look right and protect them guys from killing.
And I just, as much as I love Scotty, I could not think that Scotty, it's the same thing. He's just going to go where he wants to go, not where you want him to go.
The lariat / clothesline. I've got the clothesline from hell.
I was going to say
the buckshot lariat, or Luke Harper's stand and deliver, or whatever it was called.
I think I actually want to say probably.
I got to go JBL on this one.
Well, I mean, that's pretty new school. I would honestly go a little bit further back and say like Stan Hansen.
Right.
Stan Hansen. I mean, the lariat.
Yeah.
I think that was Stan Hansen's actual finish was the lariat at that point, and to spit chaw in their face essentially. So yeah, I got to go with Stan Hansen.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
The spear. Goldberg, Lashley, Edge, Rhino, Roman, and I'm not going to get into all the smaller people that do it.
Yeah.
Like Edge is as small as I'll go.
Yeah, I mean the spear is getting to super kick level.
It is.
And man, who does the spear the best? I mean, you really got to look at Bill.
I agree.
I mean, honestly, Goldberg's, regardless of what it is now, Goldberg then, when the spear went through, the building blew.
And it looked like
Well, he, for those of you who haven't seen the DVD, I think it's either on Bill's DVD. I know it's on the Rise and Fall of WCW. But they talk about they needed him to do something before the jackhammer. And he had over time he developed the kick and he developed the lariat, he developed the kitchen sink and stuff. But
he only had like 3 moves to begin with.
He really did. So they said, hey, we need something before the jackhammer. So he just did football. He just ran the damn guy down, is what he said.
And I think that's why he's so good at it, because he just treated it like a football.
Yeah, he just treated it like football, and he just ran through the guy. Now, I would say, though, I love Roman's. I don't care what anybody says about it. I love the way Roman does the spear, because I love that, boom, just right through a guy.
All right. This one's going to be controversial.
Okay.
The RKO / Diamond Cutter.
The Diamond Cutter.
Okay, I agree. 100% agree with you.
Can piss up a rope at this point.
Yes.
And that's not a swear word.
I completely agree. I'm glad you're on the same page. Diamond Dallas Page, when that 35-year-old man would literally, RKO out of nowhere is new for him. It wasn't for DDP. For DDP, it was
That was the thing that I think a lot of people have to remember is that made Page's character, because the idea was a lot of people...
You'll never see it coming.
Yeah, you'll never see it coming. And on top of that, it gave him the chance to win unwinnable matches. And, I mean, how long did Page have his ribs taped in WCW? What was it, like 2 years?
I think so.
His ribs were damaged for 2 years or something?
I think just slightly under the amount of time that Randy Orton's father was in a cast.
It was in a cast, yeah, okay. It was a long time. Well, I think Bob's been wearing that thing for 40 years now. But, I mean, that was the thing with Page, is that he could pull that move out of anywhere and hit it. And there's some other guys who have it, like Bubba Ray's got the cutter and some other stuff. But the way Page had it, the way he sold it, the way it came out of nowhere, and the fact that...
you'd win the match with it.
Yeah, and the fact that DDP is like the never should have been, but was. He wasn't supposed to be this. He wasn't supposed to achieve that. He wasn't supposed to become a main eventer, and he accomplished all of that.
So, like he likes to do, go to Amazon Prime right now. It's on there if you have Prime. It's called Relentless.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm actually personally doing the DDPY yoga program right now. It's 9 o'clock.
It's 9 o'clock, love.
So I'm actually doing the DDPY yoga thing.
Yeah.
So
love it. DDP all the day, all day long, man.
So we got 2 more.
Okay.
So first of all, our namesake, and there's a reason I'm not doing our namesake last.
Okay.
And it's going to be amazing. But our namesake, the Powerbomb.
Oh man.
You got Vader, Sable, Batista, Undertaker, Kevin Nash. I mean, there's
also, as he went through that, there's variations. There's the pop-up powerbomb. There's the sit-down powerbomb. There's the jackknife powerbomb. There's the blah, 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 blah powerbomb at this point. I honestly think, who's done the best powerbomb? Sid.
For me, it's Batista.
I love Batista's.
When you come down with the powerbomb, to me, it just gives it extra.
Yeah.
Like Bubba Ray Dudley's powerbomb, if you will.
Yeah.
It's one thing to just drop someone on their head. It's one thing to throw someone up and drop them. But when you come down with them, and then you just flip your legs up onto their arms.
Yeah.
For me, that's...
Do you know who had a brutal one? I mean, Undertaker, obviously, with The Last Ride is really good, but He very, very rarely used it, but I remember, because you mentioned the video games, that it was in there, Kane's Powerbomb.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Because remember, Kane, what he would do is when he would slam him down, he would come down with him. But he would do this like slink thing where he would hook the leg and come over top of him and lay on him from the powerbomb position.
Yeah.
Which looked really cool. And the way he did it just looked brutal because Glenn is so big. But man, I mean, I really think Sid had it. And when he did it on the Raw 15, where he had, who was it Ziggler? Or somebody he got up? Where he just like was chewing gum and he's like, powerbomb, boom. I was like, God, man, that guy is still so big.
All right, so the last one is going to seem weird.
Is it the...
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not the mandible claw.
Okay, all right. What's the last one?
Because then you'd have Britt Baker or
Yeah.
my hero, the choke slam. Now, why the choke slam last?
Okay, I was expecting like DDT or something. Okay.
I couldn't find a good list of people because the DDT is not used as often anymore.
The answer to that is Jake.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. And you can't really think of who other than the Death Valley Driver. I mean, really, who uses that anymore?
Yeah, I would say Tommy Dreamer had the best DVD.
Okay, so you have the Undertaker, Sid Vicious, Kane, or Big Show for the choke slam. Or I guess you could throw your boy in there, Hurricane Shane Helms.
Did
I don't know if he ever actually accomplished the choke slam.
I don't think he ever got it up. No, I don't. Yes. You know who also did the choke slam? Who I really enjoyed because the way they built him up and the way that Shawn would take it would be Kevin Nash's Diesel.
Oh yeah, okay.
Diesel's choke slam for some reason I really always liked the way he did it. And I like the choke slam where you get the guy up. I know you kind of have to, but the support I'm not huge on. I like when they just kind of get the guy up and just do that with it. I don't like when they come down with him and kind of kick the guy out and bring him down. I don't like that one as much.
Like the original Big Show when he was young.
Yeah, when Big Show did that.
Okay.
But I would say, honestly, I really like Kevin Nash's choke slam.
So the reason I broke choke slam is the first wrestler that can be traced back to using the choke slam is in the 1800s. Former President Abraham Lincoln used the choke slam when he was a wrestler. Here comes Honest Dave with the choke slam.
7 years ago.
You did know that Abraham Lincoln was a wrestler, right?
I did. He was also a boxer too.
Yeah, but
yes.
That was his finishing move.
Yes, Abraham Lincoln was a street fighting wrestling boxer. And wasn't it also rumored that he fought a bear?
No, that was Teddy Roosevelt.
Was that Teddy Roosevelt? Okay. Yes.
All right. So
now, and you know what? Apologize for anything of that. You know, we've also had other presidents enter the ring as well too. So wrestling has got a deep vein in American culture. Let me ask you one real quick. I know you kind of want to jump into it because we got a lot to do. I thought about a couple newer ones.
Okay.
The V trigger. People are using it a lot.
Yeah, I thought about that.
And I'll even keep it small. Kenny or Ciampa.
Unfortunately, it's got to be Kenny.
I can't say unfortunately because regardless of what Kenny is doing professionally with his
career,
whatever, he is still an amazing athlete. The press slam. Big up over the head.
Oh, man. Only person I ever remember doing that was Luger.
Luger, Warrior. The problem is that Warrior kept picking people up at the wrong points and just like dropping them in a weird way.
Okay.
I love Sting because Sting always could get the guy up and he could military press him and drop him, which was really good. The big boot.
Well, it's got to go to Hogan.
Brother.
It's got to go to Hogan, doesn't it?
And the last one I'll give you. Sorry, finish your thought. I didn't mean to cut you.
Because, the leg drop. I mean,
yeah. The big boot and the leg drop. The elbow drop.
So, I mean, Savage made it iconic. He really did.
And I'm going to include, we're talking about the elbow drop. We're talking about the diving pointed elbow drop that guys do, like if you go back in Harley Race and stuff like that.
So
like,
you'd include The Rock in this.
I want to go with the elbow drop, not necessarily the standing elbow drop, but I'm talking about off the top rope or maybe even off the middle if you want to go for it. Who had the best elbow?
Savage.
Yeah, I mean,
and and I can throw one more to you. Who had the best go to sleep? You've got Eddie Kingston. You've got CM Punk.
well, you've also got
Okada, basically.
Masahiro from Japan at that point too. I mean, yeah, we could really go move by move on that section of it, but I mean, if you look at just the elbow drop, I think the way Savage did it, especially with those ropes at that time when there wasn't a lot of people, and even though Savage was a big guy, but a smaller guy for a big guy, right?
The Spider.
The thing with it is that
Sean goes, he also hunted vampires.
yes, he did. Yes, he did. The way that he did it was standing on it and going all the way up to the top on his tippy toes and calling for it. I think when you see him do that, it's almost like an iconic image in your mind where it's just like, I know I'm paralleling. It's like a statue. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like the flag at Iwo Jima kind of thing being raised. When he does that, you know, it's just like, it's that image that pops in your mind of, oh my God, the Savage elbow.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
No, I agree. I guess the only person who did it better is Oliver Platt. And the King's Out.
I think you're sexy, Mean Gene. Oh my God, I love it. All right, so that has been the Who Did It Better for, you know, the wrestling move. You know, if you guys have a favorite, if you guys have a finisher or something we missed, we had a lot of new school. If you guys if you disagree, please feel free to give us a shout and let us know. If we missed something, which clearly we did, and like we talked about, there's a lot of old history, 1980s, the Brain Buster. We could talk about moves all day long. Tell us what you guys think in the comments and let us know.
All right, so we're gonna start flying through some stuff real quick.